Afternoon. You need to, there you go.
A little closer.
Yeah.
Good afternoon. My name is Kate Scanlon, and I am the president of the Friends of Mountain Lake Park.
To get a little closer, there you
Even closer, okay. I'm the president of the Friends of Mountain Lake Park, and I'll be happy to answer some of those little trivia questions that you were asking. With regard to the lakefront, without being exact, the lion's share of the actual usable lakefront does fall under the jurisdiction of the Rec and Park Department. There is a small, maybe 10 feet at tops, that falls into the Presidio's jurisdiction, but that is the less usable portion of the beachfront. The portion of the beachfront most commonly used by the park users and the kids and the ducks and everything else is under the Rec and Park's jurisdiction. So that's my first question.
By the way, that part has gotten, the beach part itself has gotten smaller and smaller, and the water has taken over a lot of that over the last 30 years. Is that correct? That's what I'd see from 30 years ago when I used to go there more than 20 years ago and 10 years ago.
As Mr. Middleton was just describing, as the lake is changing in shape, the beachfront erodes and we lose portions of the beachfront. There has been efforts to remediate a lot of the non-native species that brought some of the contamination, and there were actually some workers out there this morning pulling out some more of the overgrowth in that portion of it, not on the portion of the beachfront, but on other parts of the lake. So there is ongoing efforts to remediate or to keep out some of the vegetation that causes the sedimentation. With regard to, I just would like to echo, thank you, first of all, for taking this up as a matter for public hearing. It has been more than 13 years that the Friends of Mountain Lake Park have been hearing things from the various governmental agencies with regard to cleaning up of the lake. So we have waited patiently, and we've heard promises from various governmental entities. So at this point in time, we are beginning to lose our patience, and we're happy to see this taken up for public comment and would like to see something finally resolved so that the lake does not indeed become a meadow. There is, anecdotally, there was discussion of the fact that if there were to be an accident on Highway 1, that this would affect the lake. I just wanted to draw your attention to it. I didn't actually bring the article with me here today, but you'll recall last summer when the tanker flipped on MacArthur Maze over in the East Bay. The San Francisco Chronicle did a story of another tanker that left the exact same refinery that came over the Golden Gate Bridge and broke an axle on Crossover Drive at about 2 o'clock in the morning and threw sparks and damaged another car when the wheel actually fell off this tanker. Literally, if that accident had happened 3 minutes earlier, that would have been a tanker accident at the very point in the roadway that we're describing here today. So it's not just a theoretical danger to the road, it's something that we nearly saw less than 12 months ago. And finally, I wanted to mention, and I don't have the document here with me today, but I think it's readily available, the easement that provided access for... Oh,
will you describe the easement that...
Yes, certainly, thank you. The easement that provided access for Caltrans to build the road, my recollection, I don't have the document here with me today, stated that when the road was built that Caltrans would do no harm, that terminology is in the actual easement itself. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
And I'd be happy to answer any other questions about the lake or the park from the perspective of the users.
Just one little question for you. Do you know how much higher the water was? I mean, we've lost a lot of the water in the lake, haven't we?
The depth. My understanding.
That's the word.
My understanding is that the historical depth of the lake was anywhere from 25 to 30 feet.
And now it's at 10.
And now it's at 9 to 10. Yeah, depending on the season.
Okay. Thank you. Actually, also one more question for you. When they built Highway 1, how much of the lake, how much smaller did they make the lake? Do you know?
That 30? I cannot. I'm not going to be able to answer that one. I have a guesstimate, but I don't necessarily want to do that.
I believe Mr. Kern indicated about 30% reduction.
Right.
Yes, 30%.
Okay.
Right.
And I had provided a letter to the committee previously, and I just wanted to put that into the hearing record as well, if I can provide that forward.
Thank you very much. Next speaker, please.
Good afternoon. Thank you very much, Supervisors, for taking this issue on. My name is Rich Shrieve. I'm with the Friends of Mountain Lake Park. I use Mountain Lake Park twice a day. I've got a dog. And I've been active with the Friends of Mountain Lake Park since about 1980. There were 4 ecological issues with the lake. One is the filling in from the creation of the highway. The second is the drainage from the highway. The third was the litter from the eucalyptus trees that the Army planted, which was one of the major causes for the rapid shallowing of the lake. That's why the eutrophication issue is an important question. Yes, it is a natural process, but we've probably cut it short by centuries by our behavior. So some human intervention and dredging is an appropriate ecological action step, I believe. We were very, very frustrated because being taxpayers at the local, state, and federal levels, we see the lawyers from the Presidio Trust and the Army about to go to court or sue each other, which could take years to fix the problem. And so we came to Supervisor Alioto Pier because this really has to be solved through the political process, not in the courts, especially between governmental agencies where we're just wasting the money that we could have spent on the cleanup with lawyers. So I'm very happy that you're fixing this. Now, those 4 factors in the ecological impact on the lake: the trees, the golf course runoff, the highway, and the runoff from the highway. 2 of those have been remediated already. The Presidio Trust has cut down the eucalyptus trees and totally replanted the other side of the lake in native plants. And the golf course, as Mr. Middleton said, is now being treated differently. It's a green golf course. The only pollution remaining in the lake, since we can't take the highway out, is the drainage from the highway, which will be an ongoing problem. So we really would like to get that fixed immediately. So thank you very much for taking up this issue.
Thank you very much. Any other speakers?